Well, hey there, folks. I'm Meteorologist Matt Barrentine here in the Fox 10 News Now Weather Center. Bring myself on in here. Of course, we are tracking. So hold on, my seat's all messed up. All right, so we're tracking Nicholas, this brand new tropical storm that formed this afternoon. I was talking about this morning that this was a real possibility, and here it is. Here's on the 3D imagery, and it looks pretty impressive on the 3D imagery because it's a very broad and large system altogether, but it's thankfully not a very strong system. Just because it's pretty broad like this doesn't necessarily mean they're all that strong. It's fairly dispersed here at the moment. Doesn't have a very good circulation, but it is here down and just off the coast of northeastern Mexico. The center of circulation is right about here. You can see Houston up here, so you can see it's basically about due south of Houston, and we do anticipate that it's going to kind of parallel the Mexican and Texas coastline before making a landfall in about central Texas. So there's the latest numbers as of 7 o'clock. Winds of 40 miles per hour. Like I said, it's big, impressive looking, but it's only a 40 mile per hour tropical storm. A minimal tropical storm here for us. Sneeving. One thing that's critical here, look at that movement. North at 2 miles an hour. Yeah, I mean, think about that. That's like a baby crawling. I mean, it's really, really slow. When you go out and take a stroll in your neighborhood, you're probably going at least 3 miles per hour. So that is a really slow storm. You can walk faster than that. And that's going to be an issue with Nicholas. So we don't anticipate Nicholas to ever really get that strong, but this one's going to have other issues. It's going to be all about the rain. And East Texas certainly knows all about that. You remember Harvey from a few years ago. Of course, we know about slow-moving storms like Sally can cause real problems, and they get hard to forecast too, which I'll talk about in a second. So here's the track from the National Hurricane Center, and this is a 5-day track. And look at it; it only goes to there. It basically slows down even more after it makes landfall to where basically, once again, it's just crawling along or essentially stationary. It could go fully stationary. So once again, that creates issues. So when there's not a whole lot, when a storm stalls or it stops moving, that means there's really not a whole lot steering it, and that's when things can get pretty squirrely with forecasting these. And for us, exactly where it ends up here is going to make a huge difference as far as how much rain we end up getting. I mean, if it's up here, we're not going to get very much out of this at all. If it ends up over here in Louisiana, the flow off the Gulf of Mexico should give us some pretty decent amounts of rain Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So there's a lot of uncertainties here at the end of the forecast going into Thursday and Friday. So we're going to have to kind of wait and see on this one. But once again, this is going to be all about the rain. So what are we looking at with the steering? Well, there's 2 areas of high pressure out here. This is in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And essentially, you can see how there's this dark orange. Those are like mountains, and this thing can't go straight over the mountains. It wants to go around, but the problem is, since there's basically 2 mountains here, it's going to kind of come up here and then sort of stall out. It may try to dive a little bit into Louisiana and then get pushed back out, or it may just go around that completely, or it may stall completely. So there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of uncertainties there in that long-range forecast. So let's take a look at one of the models. This is the GFS, or the American model, which has done a fantastic job really throughout much of this year, and even going back into last season. It's been pretty much the most reliable model. So this is the one I really wanted to show you. This is 12 p.m. on Monday, so it's right there. Brownsville, Texas is right here where Elon Musk is shooting off his rockets right there. That's where the tropical storm is expected to be at noon tomorrow. And then headed up towards noon on Tuesday, right over the Houston area is what this model has. And here's what the American model is doing. It doesn't stall it out. It keeps moving it on into Louisiana. And that will bring us some enhanced rain. Now, I anticipated this week to be kind of unsettled one way or the other, but this would add some extra juice here to the atmosphere on Wednesday, possibly Thursday and Friday. Now, that said, I mean, here, let me show you what we're looking at here. This is the same model with some of the rainfall possibilities through Friday. I'll run it all the way through Friday. And our rain numbers, well, they're, 2 to 3 inches isn't, small amounts of rain over several days for us, over a full week, not really a big deal. It looks like the big deal rain will be over here in Texas, possibly parts of Louisiana. So I don't think we're going to get massive amounts of rain. This will just help to enhance our rain as we head towards the second half of the week. Now, some of the other models are completely stalling this thing out, which will give us a much drier scenario towards the end of next week. But I'm going with this because, like I said, the GFS, the American model, has been pretty good lately. So my thinking is that we're more likely to see, a couple of inches of rain out of this, enhancing our rain Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of the upcoming week. And just something to note too, tomorrow, nothing to do really with this storm, but we're going to have a pretty good chance of rain for you Monday, 60 to 70%. So tomorrow's likely to be pretty wet. Tuesday, I think we might get a little bit of break, just a few scattered showers around. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, probably all pretty decent chances of rain. So as you plan your week ahead, you're looking at getting the clothes ready for the kiddos and what you're going to be doing this week. If you're like me, you got soccer practices after school and that kind of thing. Just be prepared for things to change or those soccer practices to get canceled or any other, football practice, things like that. We could run into some issues here with rain this week. So just keep all that in mind. Rain chances are going to be pretty good one way or the other here throughout the week, although they could go down, like I said, if this thing does decide to stall out off to the west. So that's the latest on Nicholas. Once again, let me get it back on the numbers here. It is a minimal tropical storm. It formed today. Not surprisingly, we've been talking about this the last couple of days, and this is what we anticipated. It's barely moving to the north at 2, and that's really going to be the problem the whole time through with Nicholas. It is not going to be a fast-moving storm. It's going to be very slow-moving, and that means even though we anticipate it to be fairly weak, we don't think it'll get up to hurricane strength. It's going to dump a lot of rain, particularly for folks in Texas, and like us, they don't really need the rain. None of us do here along the Gulf Coast. We've all had more than our fair share of rain so far this year, and this is not going to be really great for them. If they see 7, 8, 9 inches of rain, which is a real possibility, and we could see some localized amounts, certainly far higher than that, a foot or more of rain, and obviously that could cause some real serious issues in Texas. So even though this isn't going to be an Ida-type storm with the winds and that kind of wind damage or huge storm surges, this one could do a lot of destruction just off the rain. We've seen it before. It's a real possibility out there here with this storm that rain could be a really big problem here with Nicholas as it makes its way in. And like I said, for us, it really depends on what happens here at the end, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It'll be weakening at that point, but it'll still have a circulation. It'll still be bringing in moisture off the Gulf. Obviously, the closer it gets over here on the east side of this, the more rain we get out of this. But once again, we're not going to get anything like the folks over in Texas and parts of Louisiana are. We're just not going to be that close to the main part of the system. So we're looking at maybe a couple of inches of rain altogether, one way or the other. So that's a good preview of Nicholas. Here we are coming up to 8 o'clock. I'll be on Fox 10 News at 9 p.m. We'll give you more updates here on Nicholas. Take a look at your long-range forecast, give you some more details on all that. Once again, I appreciate you joining us here on our Fox 10 Facebook page and our YouTube page. Have yourselves a great evening. We will see you at 9 o'clock here this evening.